Good afternoon. I am Toya Porter, and today's training will be on the point of service counting and claiming for school year 2023 and 2024. The goal of this presentation is for you to be able to complete the claiming procedures in the CMP website to effectively file an NSLP SBP claim for CEP, partial CEP, and non-CEP or traditional schools. Listed are some abbreviations that will be used during the presentation. ASP is After School Snack Program. NSLP is the National School Lunch Program. SBP is the School Breakfast Program. SFA is the School Food Authority. SY is your school year. And SSO is the Seamless Summer option. We have several new SFA directors, so I have provided a link to a video on how to change your CMP password to something that is easier to remember. Now let's define meal counts and claiming. Meal counts are defined as the total amount of reimbursable meals, separated by category, served to students at the point of sale or point of service. The meal counts are submitted to LDOE for reimbursement through the Louisiana Child Nutrition Program website. Claiming is defined as the process and/or procedure of submitting monthly meal totals to LDOE within the regulated timeframe for federal and state reimbursement. There are 6 elements that are essential to operating an accountable meal counting and claiming system. 1, eligibility documentation. 2, collection procedures. 3, point of service meal counts. 4, reports. 5, claims for reimbursement. And 6, internal controls. There are 3 categories of meal counts. Free, all children in households receiving benefits from the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, homeless or foster, can receive free meals regardless of your income. Also, the children can receive free price meals if households' gross income is within the free limits on the federal income eligibility guidelines. Reduced is due to the passing of House Bill 282, students will not be charged the reduced price, but they must maintain their reduced price status on all documentation. And paid. Children who live in a household that do not qualify for free or reduced price meals will be listed in the paid category. The reimbursement rates for school year 23-24 have been posted to the CMP website. To access, please follow these steps. Also, as a reminder, due to the passing of House Bill 1, students in the reduced price status should not be charged the reduced price meals copay. Act 305 will cover these. But you must maintain your reduced price status for counting and claiming purposes. To access your reimbursement rates, you will log in to the School Food Service tab, log into CMP website, click on your green School Food Service tab, click on the green sidebar of the left side of the web page, access the rates by clicking Program Administration and the drop-down title Reimbursement Rates. CMP operators may use this reference to the reimbursement rates to assist in filling out the applicable rates information in software applications. The requirements for reimbursement. In order for the SFA to claim meals for reimbursement, they must meet the following criteria: the use of a manual or an electronic system for counting and consolidating meals at each school. The system must have the ability to accurately count, record, consolidate, and report the number of reimbursable meals by category of eligibility status and type. The system must also include edit checks. You must maintain adequate documentation on file to support the number of meals claimed for both breakfast and lunch, and you must maintain an accurate, up-to-date benefit issuance document reflecting the current status of each child enrolled. This document must always be available. These requirements will be discussed in more detail later in the upcoming slides. Point of service and counting. Regardless of the selected point of service system chosen by the SFA, it is required that it must provide an accurate point of service count and must include the number of meals served, capture the meal counts by category, which are free, reduced, and paid, ensure that only one meal is served to each eligible child. Also, the point of service system must be able to identify a second meal served to a child. And please note, the second meal is not reimbursable and must be charged to the student. This must be completed each day, and the system also must be able to prevent overt identification. The employee operating the point of service must ensure that all meal pattern requirements are met before claiming the meal as reimbursable. Point of service must occur regardless of where the meal is being served. The only time that clickers or tally sheets can be used is if the SFA is system-wide free claiming. The school will utilize their traditional schedule and are serving the students as normal. You must be able to show an eligible child is receiving a reimbursable meal. The site must be able to identify the student by name and count and claim them by eligibility status at the school in which they are enrolled. Also, the employee at the point of service must be able to identify if a second meal is being served to a child. Alternate points of service. The state agency may authorize alternate points of service provided that the alternatives result in accurate, reliable counts of the number of free, reduced, and paid meals served. SFAs may submit in writing requests to the state agency for approval of alternate points of service. Alternate points of service may also be specified in the SFA's annual NSLP renewal application. Mediums of exchange. For a student to receive a meal, there must be a medium of exchange at the point of service. The medium of exchange can be a variety of things. Some examples would be a ticket to receive the meal, a roster, a student ID card with a magnetic strip, fingerprint scanner, a PIN number that is input on a keypad, simply calling out their name or student number, or pay with money for the meal. The following meal count systems are not acceptable because they do not provide an accurate daily count at the point of service. Attendance counts, using the number of students in attendance. This does not provide a count of meals actually served, and only the served meals may be claimed for reimbursement. Tray or entree counts, counting the number of trays or entrees used during the meal service. This does not provide an accurate count of reimbursable meals as there are no controls to ensure that trays contain all the necessary food items, that trays were not stuck together, and that each entree was a part of a complete meal. each meal must be monitored to ensure that all the meal pattern requirements have been met. Classroom counts, counting the number of students in the class who indicate that they intend to eat a meal prior to the meal service itself. Students intending to eat may not actually do so. A count taken prior to the meal service will not reflect those changes, and the count of meals served may not be accurate. Also, there are no controls at the point of service to ensure that the meals counted are actually reimbursable. Counts taken anywhere other than at the point of service, unless approved by the state agency. The only place an accurate count of reimbursable meals can be made is at the point where it can be determined that the meals are actually reimbursable. Cash converted to meals. Using cash totals to determine the number of meals served. This does not provide a count of reimbursable meals served. Also, this allows cash collection errors to translate into meal count errors. And the delivery counts of meals produced off-site. For example, the number of meals delivered to a school is not necessarily the number of meals that were actually served. Edit checks. Edit checks must be completed for each meal each day. The edit checks must compare the number of free, reduced, and paid students with the number served in each category to prevent errors in charging, recording, and consolidating meal counts prior to submitting a claim. Edit checks can be done manually or electronically, and edit checks use the average daily attendance to determine if excess meals are served. An explanation is required if an excess has been determined. Please be reminded that the number of meals claimed should not exceed the average daily attendance, nor should the number of meals served exceed enrollment. The benefit issuance document, or eligibility document as it is sometimes called, must remain current at all times. It must be updated when a new application is received for a new student. For example, a new student enrolls or transfers into your school system, or when a student withdraws. It must be updated when the SFA receives a new direct certification list, and it must be updated when a household submits a new application or if the student's household decides they do not want to participate in the program. For SFAs who choose to use a manual POS system, the SFF7 or Daily Participation Report must be used. There is a blank Daily Participation Report on the CMP website. There you will also find the Daily Participation Report with explanations or instructions directly below the blank form. Both the form and instructions can be found on the CMP website under the School Food Service Forms tab, Menu Planning section. RCCIs will find this report in the RCCI section. There is a link on this slide for your convenience. Overt identification. Maintaining the confidentiality of a student's free, reduced, or paid status is of the highest importance. SFAs must ensure that a student's eligibility status is not disclosed at any point in the process of providing free or reduced price meals, including during the providing of meals in the cafeteria and at the point of service. Overt identification can be a challenge at the point of service as children may need to provide money and/or a fund balance may be visible on a computer screen if an electronic POS system is being used. Schools must ensure to the maximum extent practicable that the method of payment or POS system does not result in students being inadvertently identified. Incomplete or non-reimbursable meals. If it is identified at the point of service that a student has not selected a reimbursable meal, there are two options. Ideally, the food service employee will request the student return to the meal service line and select the necessary food components to provide a reimbursable meal. If the student goes back and makes the necessary additions to their meal, they are included in the meal count and no further action is necessary. If the student declines to return to select the required food components, the student must be charged an a la carte pricing for each individual item on their tray, and their meal cannot be counted and claimed for reimbursement. A la carte refers to food items available for cash sale independent of the reimbursable meal. Items sold a la carte must not be counted for purposes of receiving reimbursement. Food service employees must be able to properly distinguish reimbursable meals from a la carte purchases. Food items sold a la carte need to be documented on the daily production records. Meals must be claimed by the school where the student is enrolled. If the state agency has approved meals for virtual students, these student meals must be provided at another site. These student meals may be provided at another site as long as they can be claimed at the school where the student is enrolled. Individual school counts drive severe need breakfast eligibility. Now we'll discuss accessing and submitting claims. To be eligible for claim reimbursement, the SFA must have a complete and approved NSLP SBP application. All claims must be submitted electronically by accessing the Louisiana Department of Education Child Nutrition Program website. A separate claim must be submitted for every month, even if the month consists of only one day of meal service to students. SFAs should submit claims by the 10th of the month following the claim period. SFAs must also submit by the 60th calendar day following the claim period. SFAs may only submit one claim for each child nutrition program per processing period. So what would happen if you miss the 60th day calendar deadline? If the claim is not submitted by the 60th calendar day, SFAs may request a one-time exemption that would only be awarded once every 3 years, pending the program manager approval. This exemption requires a written justification to be submitted to the state agency, and then SFAs are provided a confirmation letter regarding the results of the exemption request. The CMP system includes security measures to support adequate internal controls through segregation of duties, also known as separation of duties. This concept involves having more than one person involved in the completion of a task. When adequate internal controls or segregation of duties are in place, one person is prevented from having control over all aspects of a particular transaction, thereby minimizing the opportunity for errors and unintended reporting. For accurate tracking purposes, it is important to make sure that the person submitting the claim is using his or her own CMP website account. Now let's discuss accessing the claim function to create a claim on the CMP website. Once logged into the CMP website, under the green School Food Service tab, you will click Claims. Also, for additional reference and assistance, please refer to the CMP website claim user manual that can be found in the Important Notices and Instructions section. Also, there is a link provided at the top of this slide that offers a video version of how to access the child nutrition website. To create a claim, you will click Create New Claim. If you receive this message, you will not be able to create a claim for program year 23-24 until your 2023 application has been approved by the state agency. If you have not submitted school year 23-24 applications to the state agency, please do so as soon as possible. If you have submitted the school year 23-24 application and have been approved by the state agency, you will see this screen. The program year will default to the current program year. Using the drop-down menu, choose the claim month to process. Then click the Create button. The new claim will be listed in the table below the claim creation box. To enter the claim data, click on the name of the claim. Please note that claims can only be edited when they are considered open or yellow in color. In this example, the August 2023 claim is blue. Therefore, it has already been submitted and awaiting approval. To enter claims data into your monthly claim, you will click School Participation Data. Remember, yellow shading means open claims, blue means pending or waiting or submitted claims, and pink means approved claims. Next, you will click Edit. If you see a View button instead of Edit, that means the claim is either waiting for approval or has been approved. Again, after it is submitted to the state agency, no changes can be made unless a written request is submitted to the Louisiana Department of Education Finance Department. Entering the eligibility data, total enrollment, total attendance, and total school days. Reduced eligibility, you will enter the maximum number of reduced price eligible students on any given day during the claim month for this particular school. In the free eligibility, you will enter the maximum number of free price eligible students on any given day during the claim month for this school. And then the paid eligibility is when you will enter the maximum number of paid eligible students who can eat on any given day during the claim month for this school. For total enrollment, the highest number of students enrolled at this school for the claim month. The total attendance is enter the sum of student attendance for all days at this school for the claim month. And school days are the total number of days this school was operating in the claim month. Number of meals served. You will enter the number of days each meal was served and the monthly totals for each meal type. Please note that if snack is only offered a few days a week, the number of days entered next to snack will be different than lunch and breakfast. This screenshot is an example of an SFA that is claiming the traditional way. You will know this is because there is information in all three meal count categories: the reduced, the free, and the paid. On this slide, you will notice that this is a partial CEP claiming. You know this because there is information in the free and paid meal count categories only. It is also important to note some school districts will have multiple claiming types. For example, a district may be partial CEP claiming for some schools and traditional claiming for other schools. Again, please ensure that each school is being claimed at the correct claiming percentage. This screenshot is an example of an SFA that is claiming the 100% CEP claiming. You know this because there is information in the free meal count category only. If your system is district-wide, all schools should be claimed at the same claiming percentage. Please ensure that each school is being claimed at the correct claiming percentage. When completing the monthly claims for schools participating in CEP, the calculated CEP claiming percentage should be applied to both the total meals and the total eligibles for each school. Please refer to the CEP Claiming Reminder Memo, SFS-23-147 for assistance in calculating your SFA's claiming percentage, as well as to access the CEP spreadsheet, which will be shown in an example on the next slide. For your convenience, links to both the memo and the spreadsheet have been provided on this slide. This slide shows an example of the CEP spreadsheet. SFAs may use this worksheet to double-check their claim numbers prior to submission. It is important to note that only the gray columns, which are claiming percentage, site, total enrollment, total meals lunch, and total meals breakfast, can be entered. The yellow columns will automatically calculate and round for you. Please refer to the instructions and tips located on the right side of the screen for more information. In this example, the CEP claiming percentage is 91.73%. Here are the steps in applying that claiming percentage to the eligibles. Step 1, you will multiply the highest number of enrolled students for the site during the claim period by the free claiming percentage. In this example, the highest enrollment for the claim period was 1,410 students, or 1,410 students. This is multiplied by the free claiming percentage of 91.73%, which equals 1,293.39, resulting in a free eligibility of 1,293. Step 2, enter the calculated number of 1,293 as your free eligible in the box directly above the total enrollment. Step 3, subtract the free eligible number from the total enrollment. So you will be subtracting 1410, you will subtract 1,293 from 1410, which will give you a total of 117. You will enter the calculated number of 117 as your paid eligible number in the box on the left of the total enrollment. Note, the reduced eligibility is left blank. Using the same claiming percentage, in this example, we will multiply the total meals claimed for the site during the claim period by the free claiming percentage. In this example, the total meals claimed was 18,445. This is multiplied by the free claiming percentage of 91.73%, which equals 16,919.60, which rounds up to 16,920 free meals. Enter the calculated number of 16,920 as your total free meals. Step 3, subtract the total free meals from the total meals claimed. So you will subtract 16,920 from 18,445, which leaves you with 1,525. Enter the calculated number of 1,525 as your total paid meals. Again, the reduced category is left blank. Once all of the data has been entered for a participating site, it will auto-populate into the claim summary page. To access the claim summary page, click School Participation Data. Please note this data is populated from the school site information and no changes can be made on this page. Before submitting a claim, the following information must be verified. All information is true and correct. The operation of the program was in accordance with the agreement and application. The claim is just and correct. The records required by the agreement are all on file to back up the claim, and the payment has not already been received. Once the factors listed on the previous slide have been verified, the claim is ready to be submitted to the state agency for processing. So to recap accessing claims, you would log in, then click the green School Food Service tab, click Claims on the green sidebar, and click View Claims. Once the claims have been accessed, to submit a claim, you must click on the claim month and year that needs to be submitted to LDOE. This example shows August 2023 is the only claim that has been created and submitted at this time. But as the school year progresses, each monthly claim that is open, waiting, or completed will display in this section. Then you will click School Participation Data. Finally, you click Submit Claim. Lastly, we have had this question come up in the past, and it's what do I report for my eligibility figures? To answer this, your eligibility figures should reflect the highest number of eligibles by category, which are free, reduced, and paid for each site or school for the applicable claim period, which is the month. Note, SFAs should not default to what the free paid eligibility was on the final operating day of the month that the claim is being filed. In summary, each SFA must have sufficient internal controls to ensure program integrity, ensure that reimbursable meals are served to eligible children, and prevent students from receiving duplicate meals. Accurate meal counting, claiming, and a dependable point of service are crucial components of the NSLP, SBP, and after-school snack programs because it ensures students walk away with a complete reimbursable meal and that each reimbursable meal is counted based on the student's eligibility status, allowing the SFA to claim each meal and receive the reimbursement from USDA to cover the cost of offering school nutrition programs. This is the end of today's presentation on meal counting and claiming. Now we will allow for a few minutes for questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop down in the chat box and place your questions there. Or if you decide or come up with questions after this presentation is over, please feel free to contact us at 225-342-9661, or you may send us an email at childnutritionprograms@la.gov. So we will wait a few moments to allow for questions. It looks like we have no questions in our chat box. Again, thank you for taking time out today to listen in on this training webinar. You all have a nice day.